Hello, everybody. This is the one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes, host of Enliven Radio and also Amplify Gospel and head of Sykes Talent Group. I wanted to address this issue regarding Ms. Dolezal from Spokane, Washington, and the question regarding race and her recent, I guess, coming out regarding her racial background. This one is really touching me personally, and I will tell you why. As a good gentleman that does not, I first of all, I am African American male, but also half Native American. But as a gentleman that grew up liking certain things that are not necessarily quote unquote popular amongst black men, or I do things differently, or how you're supposed to be portrayed or stereotyped to act, I can understand why this situation is a key issue. And it's something that I feel very bad and I feel very uh, a lot of pain for this woman. And what we need to understand is a couple of things. What is black? And I say that in this sense that too many times we let our own premonitions, our own preconceived notions of what a black person, African American person is supposed to act like, look like, sing, dance, and do. There are plenty of people who are African American who are white, who may have a Caucasian skin tone or akin to that. But because of that, we automatically throw them as a white culture because of how society indicatively would treat them. We would tend somebody who's white, who was born in Africa, in different countries in Africa, that they would be not considered black or African. Charlize Theron is South African, and she identifies herself as a South African, but people refuse. They will still sit here and say that she's white, born somewhere in America, because they just don't want to believe that somebody who looks like them would also be coming from South Africa. So moving on to this situation here, I don't think people realize that there are a lot of other situations going on here. This lady is coming from a home where she had an adopted brother. At one point, they were seeking emancipation from their parents due to abuse and a variety of different things. And why vilify this woman for wanting to basically identify with herself with black culture? But we have a lot of white artists in music, film, what have you, that would appropriate black traditional black culture to fit in. Now, the question comes, and this big controversy is some are doing it to earn money and to just fit in on purpose and don't really care about our issues. But then there are those who really do care. Let's give an example. First person I can think of off the top of my head is Justin Timberlake. Not just with the Janet Jackson issue years ago, but going forward, a lot of his music is traditionally, which you might say, in R&B, and sometimes people feel that R&B only belongs with black people. Music belongs to all cultures and all races. But his style and how he goes about things, many feel that it misappropriates black culture or utilizes black culture to make it famous. But when it comes to our issues, not too often you don't see him moving forward. Cameron Diaz, obviously, but you don't see her doing a variety of things on a whole publicly for Latin American and Hispanic communities. So now going forward, you have somebody who is white, basically, but who, for the longest now, has not just identified herself as a black woman, but just as a human being. She has done a lot of different things and associated herself and has gone through the many things, maybe not all obviously, but maybe we all don't know her individual life and story fully, but she obviously has gone through many things that many other Black women have gone through with the hatred and discrimination and everything else. And obviously this has come out solely for the simple fact that obviously she has some very hateful parents, excuse me. And I think that people need to look at the cause before the storm. And then this only come out again because the parents, she's separated, estranged, and now her parents did not like it and decided to put her business out there just to tear her down. Really? All this just to tear somebody down. Now, she's not the first white person to be head of a division of the NAACP. And in addition, this woman has put out a lot regarding African American culture, a lot of videos, produced a lot of art. She fought for a lot of our causes. She put herself on the front line. What's the problem? There are many people in civil rights history who are not Black, but white, Hispanic, of all cultures, who have fought for us as well and put themselves on the line. So what's the difference between 2015 versus 1950s and 60s? This is the type of support and a future that I personally believe that King and others have talked about, that we need to have, that where we are all of one race and one culture. Truth be told, medically it says strong that we all come from Africa anyway. So what's the hatred? I mean, move on. This should be a dead issue. Instead of coming down on this woman, we should be coming down on her parents for trying to vilify her. And she has taken care of her younger adopted brother. She don't even view her brother as adoptive. She just views her as a brother. She went to Howard University, if I understand it correctly. Did a whole bunch of different other things to help us. And this is the type of hatred that many people in white communities are scared of from supporting others. How many times we've had stories where we've had various members in the white community who have maybe stepped up and stepped out for something, and that's happened to somebody Black, but then they are treated badly by their neighbors or friends in churches or on their jobs even. Some even have lost their jobs. Various communities, there are people who have spoken up and say, listen, the communities where there's not enough money going to the schools where Black children are, we need to do better. And how quickly have they lost their jobs? I've had people stepped up for me who are white, and when I've gone to banks and things of that nature, I've gone back and said something to them regarding how they treated me. And subjectly, one person I know personally had lost their bank account because of that, and had they decided to close their account. This woman's changed her hair. Okay, so why get mad at somebody white changing their hair to Black when we got so many Black women and other races changing their hair to white? Not just Black women, but with Asian Americans, Native Americans, Latin people changing their hair colors and styles. And how many times I and others have been teased because if I talk a certain way, or I just talk and try my best to speak correct English. And sorry, this one just really hurts. That we're speaking correct English and we're teased. And because we don't talk black or act black or do certain things. And I feel bad because sadly we still face these challenges today. Speaking correct English is supposedly white, or you're not trying to be down or anything else. You're just trying to be yourself and do the right thing. And you go through these different challenges, and then now you're seeing, not now, but it's just been always been happening. But now we're not only people, just people of all different races are tearing her down. There are also a lot of people who are bringing her, trying to support her. And I'm very grateful that the NAACP has stood beside her on this level. Last I checked, there was not a race requirement for the NAACP. There are plenty of people in censuses over the years that have checked other races that they may not have been birthed from. And last I checked, we're so mixed and generalized these days. You cannot look at somebody and just automatically assume. There are there are people who look like me who are born from two very Caucasian white people. It's happening quite often these days now. We see kids who are twins but from same mother but different fathers. We just have all these different situations, and now we live in a nuclear society, a very blended society. And the fact that we can't seem to just come together and love each other is just wrong. When we have, for example, I go to a Lebanese festival that's very popular here. For whatever reason, I remember in the past I was teased, like, why are you here? Why not? Appreciate all cultures in life. I'm supposed to just be on the south side or downtown or the east end, but I'm not allowed to come to the west end and enjoy the Lebanese festival. Or if there's somebody from the west end is not allowed to come down to the Second Street Festival. It's supposed to be about celebration. Festival of music, just anything, is supposed to be about celebration of life. And I do nothing but wish this lady much success. I pray for her brother. I pray for her family and friends who may be going through a lot of personal struggle and strain through this. In addition, I pray for her parents. And that obviously in all these years that they've been estranged from her, they cannot find enough love to just say, hey, we love you, we move on, or what have you. And you still taking her down. Just love your children. Don't get mad because they identify with a different race. And maybe because of her experiences within her community and the people that surround her, that they showed her a lot more love than the people maybe in her community that were white or just within at home. I don't know. We don't know. But one thing I did know, that she found a lot of love and endearing spirit within the African American community to feel more than comfortable and share our pain and go through these pains. And she's reported on several racial profiling and other situations, and now this has come up because she took a stand. What kind of world do we live in? My God, this is sickening. I pray that we can just use this opportunity for healing and understanding. Not everything is black and white. Not everything, is supposed to be 2, 3, 4 colors or what have you. It's about working together. Now, that does not mean you lose your racial identity in terms of forgetting it on purpose out of hate or something of that nature. But I always say integration without assimilation. Last I checked, no one kingdom or society ever totally lasted without the help of somebody else. We live in this world that we, right now and further along, need to join hands. Let's do better and make it a much more positive day for all of us. Again, I'm the one and only Mr. LP, Stephen Sykes, host of Enliven Radio, Amplified Gospel, and head of Sykes Talent Group. I bid you adieu, today being the 13th of June, 2015. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.